Anousheh Ansari made history as the first female private astronaut, and today, as CEO of XPRIZE, she helps drive radical breakthroughs and innovation in tech. In this guest lecture, she joins Beatrice Erkers in conversation to explore why space matters, how advancing space technology can expand human potential, open new frontiers, and shape humanity's long-term future beyond Earth.
I'm very excited to be here with Anousheh Ansari. Let's just dive straight into it, Anousheh. Would you mind maybe introducing yourself a little bit and talk about all the work that you're doing at XPRIZE and your work before that even?
Of course. So I'm excited for the past 5.5 years, I've been leading XPRIZE Foundation and driving capital and innovation, specifically focused on using technology and advancing technologies toward solving humanity's grand challenges and making technology work toward building a equitable, abundant future for everyone. Prior to that, I've been a tech entrepreneur for many years and also had the opportunity to fly to International Space Station and experience being in space, and have been an advocate for opening up access to space to everyone and making it accessible. So that's how I got involved with XPRIZE originally and funded the first competition that really was the start of allowing private sector to participate in developing technologies and launch capability for space.
Yeah, that's amazing. Imagine having been to space. That's really something. Yeah, so I think maybe we just start with the question of, I think a lot of people maybe they wonder why space exploration should be a priority when we have things that we're definitely like challenged by here on Earth. And would you mind maybe sharing from your perspective why you think that space is actually important if we want to build like a hopeful future and an exciting future, and how investing in these technologies could really contribute? It could benefit us not just long term, but maybe short term here as well on Earth.
Of course. So first of all, we need to realize we are in space. So it's not like there is Earth and there's space over there. So we are part of an ecosystem. In our case, it's a solar system, part of the larger space, the universe we're part of. But when we look at it in that context, we have, as human beings, explored our planet to learn about our planet and then gain access to its resources. And space is no different. So we are part of this ecosystem. So it is part of our nature to explore, to learn, because when we learn about our environment, we learn a lot more about ourselves, and we're able to make better decisions. So to me, actually being able to have continuous, low-cost, safe access to space is an existential requirement for humanity. Many of the activities in space have benefited people on Earth. Actually, I would say 95%, if not more, directly benefited humanity on Earth, whether it's our GPS system, communication system, banking system, broadcast system. All of these are space technologies at use right now. And we even look at a lot of the materials, lightweight materials, durable materials that have been created. They've been created as part of the space program. So there's a long list of things that have come from space program. But in future is even more important, because as we are racing toward building a more sustainable future, hopefully soon, we need to have access to resources that makes us be able to achieve that future we want to build. And if we can find those resources outside of our planet, it will be less harmful to life on our planet. So I see the opportunity, of course, right now with the technologies that we have toward Earth observation and the satellites and technologies that have been available, giving us data about the health of our planet and how it's changing, and inform us so we can take better action toward ensuring its sustainability and health. But also we can access energy in space with the cost of launch to space being reduced now with reusable rockets, and going from $25,000 per kilogram just over a decade ago to now in the next 5 to 6 years getting to be around $250 per kilogram really opens up what technologies we can put in orbit or on the surface of the moon. And that can take care of a lot of polluting industries that we have on our planet, whether it's data centers, manufacturing facilities. All of this can reside in orbit and reduce the burden on our planet. And furthermore, we want to, as explorers, we want to go and explore the rest of the solar system. Establishing a base on the moon will give us experience of how does it feel to live in space for a long period of time. How does it impact our body? We can develop new technologies that makes us more resilient in order to be able to travel. So I can go on and on for hours to talk about the benefits of it, but it is important, and it is not solving our problem on Earth versus going to space. We're doing both, and actually going to space and using technologies and resources in space will help us actually solve some of those problems.
That's a really good reminder. Yeah, we are in space. That's useful to think about every now and then. So I think one thing that we've talked a lot about in this course is just AI and how that will affect our future potentially, just in terms of it can help with so many different things. It can speed up a lot of things. It can be add challenges for sure as well. But what do you think? Are there examples of AI already being used in space research or space missions? And do you see a future where it could play an important role, basically?
Actually, AI has been used in space actually for a long time. I think, was it like a couple of years ago that we had Simon, which was the little sphere, an AI assistant that was on space station assisting astronauts. A lot of the launch, docking, robotics missions, robotic arm on space station, a lot of these things can operate autonomously, and they use AI to do that. We use AI in exploration, and that's an area that I'm super excited because we collect tons of data from space, but for the longest time, we didn't have the compute and analysis capability to actually sift through all that data. And technology is getting to a point that we can go back and all the data that we've been collecting from various missions, from missions that were launched to space or just observatories across the globe that have been collecting data for a long time, and really gain new insight from that data. So we don't even need to go get new data. We can just gain new insight with existing and old data. And that's an activity that's ongoing, and we're continuously discovering more things. So that's exciting to me. And I think there's a lot of missions that still will be all robotics and non-human missions, especially for exploration of planets that are further out in the solar system, and their moons, and the environment is harsh, so it's not suitable for really human exploration. So there is a very distinct place for AI that will play a huge role in discovery and study of, everything we want to know about our solar system and beyond. So I'm excited about that. There's also, when you talk about adding AI to humanoid robots or robotic capability, that opens up also a whole other area of activity for us. And I think that will also be part of space program moving forward. If we completely replace human exploration with robotic exploration, I think we'll be missing out. As human beings. We long and want to experience things personally, and still our technologies are not as advanced that they can make decision or perform certain actions as quickly and efficiently as human beings can. So I think there is a place for human space exploration. I hope that it remains there even when there is no need, but there is a desire for human exploration. I can tell you that when I went to space, I had seen many pictures and videos of Earth from space. But when I saw Earth with my own eyes from the space station, that made a huge difference. It made it real to me. And it really changed my perspective and my relationship to our planet, to the way I wanted to live my life and what I wanted to do. So there is something to be said for personal experiences.
Yeah, that's a really strong point. Like, you've personally experienced it. Do you think there is a way, because I don't see near term maybe us being able to send everyone to space, but do you think there's anything we can do? Are there ways to bring this sort of overview effect or like that experience to more people on Earth closer term?
Absolutely. I think, first of all, physical experience, a lot of people talk about doing a deep sea dive, or sea or ocean dives, as the closest thing to feeling weightless and being in space. So diving can be substituted for that physical emotion. But on top of that, with VR experiences and advancing in virtual reality and just the quality of media that we can have, and we've been capturing a lot of high definition media from space station and astronaut experiences, and you add AI and Gen AI to that, we can really create a lot of virtual experiences that people can get as close as possible to that. You go to the next level, you have the suborbital flights, which over time will become more affordable, and they are shorter duration, but it gives you a taste of what it feels like to be in space and gives you a glimpse of our planet from space as well. So that's another level until you get to be able to actually do an orbital flight or a flight to the moon and then settlement to the moon. So you can see these as the stepping stones together.
Yeah, that's quite a few tools. And what do you think, are there any lessons from your experience in space innovation that you think are the most important for making sure that like space is like a shared opportunity for humanity rather than an arena for conflict or competition? I know you've been like a key figure in advancing private space flight, and how, for example, how do you see that the role of private companies versus governments in terms of advancing this whole space?
Yeah. I think I'm a big advocate of collaboration and also public-private partnership. I think there are areas where businesses can make a business case to advance technologies and create capabilities in space. And there are pure exploration type activities that it doesn't make a business case. So it's an area where space agencies and philanthropy can play a huge role in really advancing human knowledge by doing those exploratory type missions. And they're critical and very important, because our understanding of, again, our universe and our place in it, understanding the origin of life, the origin of our universe, it really makes a huge difference in our understanding of ourselves and our place here in the universe. So I'm a big proponent of this type of collaboration. And a great example of that is International Space Station, which is a collaboration between 16 countries. And even through Cold War and geopolitical tension, people on space stations have demonstrated that they can come from different countries, different backgrounds, different religion and politics, but when they're on board space station, they really focus on collaboration and working together, and they understand how that collaboration really is important in their survival and the survival of the mission. So they can put all differences aside. So there is a huge lesson to be learned from how space station came together, the hype was built over time by collaboration of all these countries, actually building hardware here on Earth and assembling it up in space, which is quite difficult. So if we want to do difficult tasks and we work together, when we're working on expensive projects, that collaboration, it's very important. And it builds on these relationships that will last through the test of time and can really make a big difference. I'm a big proponent of peaceful uses of space, and a big advocate to not militarize space, because I have not seen a single war that ended up with a winner and a loser. There are always losers on both sides. And I don't want space to become that. Right now, when people look up at the night skies, they connect because they see the same constellations on the northern hemisphere and the same constellations on the southern hemisphere. And it connects us outside of the borders. So I hope that we can keep space that way.
Yeah, it could really be just a win for everyone if we do it right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I know you've had a very sort of bold and future-oriented career, I would say. But how do you think about this course? We've talked a lot about the concept of existential hope, meaning believing that we can create really beautiful, ambitious futures and trying to work towards that. And do you think that could be a useful guiding principle? And how do you think, if you think so, that we could foster more of it in the world today?
Well, XPRIZE is all about existential hope. We tackle the biggest problem where people have thrown their hands up and said, we don't know how to solve it, or it can be solved, or it's difficult. And toward a hopeful lens, so we activate the world to think about solutions. So I'm a big proponent of it. I think without hope, we will basically very quickly give up on everything, and giving up on things, that means that we've accepted failure without even trying. And to me, that's not an acceptable outcome. I really think that by demonstrating that hope brings a focus on solution, and it's the first step you take toward actually solving a problem. Because if you go into something thinking it can be solved, guess what? It won't be solved. But if you go into it with the hope to finding the solution, and with persistence and hard work, you will find it. I don't believe in just hoping and then thinking, okay, if I hope so, then it will happen. I love having hope and following it with action and taking steps with hope. And I think that when we make decisions from a hopeful place, we make better long-term decisions. But when we really look at things through the lens of fear, we make decisions that we usually regret later. So I think hope is a big part of that. And one of the things we try to do at XPRIZE is always really create a movement of people who are hopeful and want to take action toward building a better future. And we also work a lot with young people and in schools and high schools to make sure that we portray a better future for them and show them tools and skills and help them find pathways to feel agency over what they can do to build that better future for themselves, instead of basically throwing again their hands up in the air and saying, everyone just ruined the world for us and we can't do anything, and giving up on their future. So we feel that by helping young people gain skills and ways to analyze problems and approach problems, then they can actually work towards solutions, work together, and achieve a better outcome. So we're hoping we can really elevate that viewpoint globally.
Yeah, I think you're really a great example of being hopeful, but also being like realistic about there's work that needs to be done, and yeah, just like finding pathways that people would not at all consider making it happen.
And
Is
also when you really create communities that work together with that hopeful lens, working together on big problems will help you, because when you're alone, you feel like the weight of the problem is too big and it's going to crush you. But when you're working in teams and collaboratively with diverse communities, it will definitely make a big difference.
yeah, that's it. And hopefully it's nice to work together. Even if you weren't to succeed with the exact mission that you set out to do, you can probably achieve some really great things.
Absolutely.
I wanted to just, if we're getting to the end of this, but is there anything important that you think we've missed touching on that you want to make sure you mention here?
I think the only thing I want to mention is we all have points of view, and again, we want to work toward building a hopeful future. And it's important for us to voice that desire and actually be vocal about it. I think by talking about it, we can bring those communities of like-minded people but not only that, to try to recruit people who are in a place of hopelessness and despair, to maybe see the light and see a path to regaining their hope for the future and joining us. So I think there are lots of people out there that I do know they believe in a hopeful future and they are taking action. So by trying to talk about their work, trying to talk about their ideas, their belief system, and standing up for that, I think it will make a big difference in how we will actually be able to shape the future.
I think that's a great place to end. Thank you so much, Anousheh. You're really a great inspiration in this space. And yeah, thanks so much for all the work that you're doing.
My pleasure.